welcome to the World Vegan Travel Podcast.
Thank you. Hello.
I'm so pleased to have you on the podcast to talk about a city in Japan, which a lot of people are very interested in. I see all of the Instagram reels about this city in Japan, and you are actually a vegan tour guide in this city. So you're going to be able to offer a unique perspective for our listeners. We're going to be talking about Nagano today. Before you tell us a little bit about that, would you mind telling us about yourself and how you became a guide?
Sure. I've grown up in Nagano and I left for Canada, living in Vancouver Island, Canada for about 30 years. Then, because of my family, I came back and I've been living back in Nagano since then. At the time, the numbers of travelers from abroad were increasing dramatically, and there was a high demand for tour guide. I've been working as a guide, guiding tourists from all over the world for about 7 years, starting from a set tour to a customized experience based tour, many different kinds of tours. I really enjoy connecting travelers to local culture, to local people, and to the information they need.
So you were born and raised in Nagano, actually.
Yes,
I see. Okay, so when people have you as a guide there, they really are talking with somebody who is born and raised there. That is wonderful.
that's right.
So how did you start your vegan journey?
It's been such a journey. When I moved to Canada about 20 years ago, I actually gained 10 kilograms within a few years. And my health was not doing well. I was diagnosed with a certain illness.
Oh,
And first, I looked into reviewing I have been eating. Since I moved to Canada, I was eating very typical Canadian food, which is more fat and more sugar and more wheat. And I've started eating a traditional Japanese diet, which is rice-based, plant-based diet. Actually, I was following, we call it macrobiotic diet.
yes, I'm familiar with that. Traditionally, it would usually contain some fish, but otherwise it's very vegan friendly, correct?
Yes. Yeah, no milk, no eggs. And macrobiotic is not only a diet, it is about understanding the universe. I had a tumor, but the size of the tumor got smaller and my body started feeling lighter. All my joints aches disappeared.
Wow, that's quite a transformation.
That's right. I don't think this strict diet for everyone, but that really fit into my body. Since then, I've been vegan, and even after I came back to Japan. But in Japan, there are not many vegan restaurants, and also it's a cultural thing. Being different is not very encouraged in this society. Being vegan, which is minority, and express my own needs being vegan is not understood. Mentally, it's been challenging to be vegan. Basically, I've been eating mostly at home, not eating outside of home. But there are some nice vegan restaurants as well. That's what I want to share when the travelers come.
Sure. And we'll get into all of that for sure, because there are some really lovely vegan restaurants in Japan, just not so many and often not very conveniently located, is what I've noticed. And they're often very small.
That's right.
Yes. A challenge that we have had when we are running our vegan tours to Japan is finding restaurants that are vegan or prepared to make vegan food and are big enough to accommodate a group and conveniently located. There can be a fantastic vegan restaurant, but if it's an hour from the sites that you want to see, then that's not very helpful.
But actually, many people, not only for vegan restaurant, but here food is the center of the culture. People put high emphasis on food culture. And so for really good food, people would drive for an hour or a couple of hours just for that.
I think
And
a lot of people do that when maybe they live in a place or if they're real foodies. But I think when you're traveling, you want to see so many things. You can't spend like a whole day going just for one restaurant. You have to do other things too.
understanding.
So I'm really interested in learning about Nagano because on our vegan tours, we go to Tokyo, Kyoto, Kanazawa, and Hiroshima. And definitely these are like the beginner places that I think most people visit on their first trip to Japan. But Seb and I would really like to create like a second trip to Japan and maybe going to places that are slightly less visited for people that have already been to Japan. And Nagano maybe is a place that would be interesting. So can you get us a little bit oriented, please? Can you explain where Nagano is as a city, the climate, the location, and the geography and the landscape?
Sure. So when people come to Japan, many people would like to visit the new part of Japan and the old of Japan and some countryside. Nagano is a good place to experience how country life is like. There are many places that has an image of a countryside in Japan, but I will tell you why Nagano is different. Nagano is one of the prefecture of 47 prefectures in Japan. Location is right in the center of the main island. It takes an hour and a half from Tokyo by bullet train. When we had a Winter Olympics in 1998, the bullet train was extended to Nagano. It's convenient, only an hour and a half. But before the Olympics, it used to take 5 hours by driving or express train.
We took a Shinkansen from Tokyo and we went through Nagano on the way to Kanazawa. Does that make sense to you?
That's right. Yes. If you take a bullet train, Nagano is right in the halfway between Tokyo and Kanazawa. Kanazawa is an old part of Japan.
So that's interesting that Nagano is a prefecture, but it's also a city. I was under the impression that it was just a city. So really, when we're talking about Nagano, it's really much bigger than just a regular city. There's a lot within that prefecture, I'm sure.
Yes. When people call Nagano, it can mean Nagano Prefecture or Nagano City. Nagano City is the capital of Nagano Prefecture. And one of the characteristics of Nagano is it's very mountainous, high mountains, because we are right on the fault line. A long time ago, the earth rose because of the volcanic activities. And we have a high range of mountains called Japanese Alps, as high as 3,000 meters. There are no other place in Japan that has this long range and high mountains together. The nickname for Nagano is roof of Japan.
Is that right? That is interesting. And is Mount Fuji close to this area or not really?
Mount Fuji is close to Nagano.
Yes, because I also remember seeing it when we were on that Shinkansen as well. Oh, okay. Yes, actually, it's southwest of. Tokyo.
So from Nagano, Mount Fuji is to south.
I see. So tell me a little bit about Nagano's city. How many people live there and what's it like there?
Nagano City has a population of 300,000 people.
Oh, is that all?
Yes, and in Japanese standard, we consider to be a small sized city. We have everything, convenience as well as rich nature. If we drive 20 minutes, we are right in the mountains.
How lovely. Okay, so before we get into the things that people can experience outside of the city, I'd love for you to talk about Nagano and why would people want to come to this small city as a traveler?
Mhm. Nagano is one of the most common destination. We go back to the fact that Nagano is in a high altitude at the foot of the mountains. So because of that, we have quality water, snow melt water, and springs. That's why agriculture is big here. Because of volcanic activities, we have many hot springs. So quality food, hot spring, and nature. Three important elements for tourism are here and easy access from big city. That's what people are coming for on weekends. Their favorite weekend or typical weekend in Nagano would be they will stay at the hot spring village and stay overnight in traditional inns. We call it the ryokan. It's a nice cultural experience. And they will relax in hot spring and enjoy kaiseki ryori. That's a traditional course meal with
I know
local
kaiseki.
specialty. Some ryokans offer vegan food and they go for a walk in nature and feel rejuvenated and go back to the city. Some people spend longer period of time doing hot spring therapy. We call it the yuji. Stay in hot spring village, and hot spring is a medicine. So they come for health purpose and balancing their mind.
I can really see why that would be very accessible and easy for Japanese people to do, as you say, coming from the weekend from Tokyo or Nagoya. But can foreigners participate in all of these things as well?
Yes.
I guess with your help, you can help navigate that.
Oh, one thing, hot spring. In Japan, 95% of hot springs don't permit the bathing suits, so we go in naked. Men and women separate. For people who feel shy to do that, some hot spring place, they have a private bath that you can make a reservation. Hot spring is for everyone.
I see. Okay. Yes. So that's really like onsen as well, right? Onsen as
Mhm.
well is separated and everyone is completely naked, right?
Yes.
I have done that. I have been to an onsen in Hiroshima, a very local one, and I went with Alina. She is one of the people that helps us out with our vegan tours. And it was a little strange walking around completely naked with women of all ages. But it was a lovely experience. It was really nice. The kids running around completely naked as well, which completely surprised me. There
No.
are quite a few rules and regulations regarding visiting onsen and hot springs, right?
Yes, you are correct. I'm used to it, so I didn't consider to be regulations. Manners.
Yes,
Mm.
manners. That's the
Mhm.
right word. Like I remember, for example, receiving like a large towel and two small towels, I think. One of the towels I had to keep on my head. Like I couldn't just leave it to one side. I had to have it on my head so that it's
Yes,
not littering the place or making the place messy. Is that correct?
that's right. It's
Yeah.
easier to go to hot spring with someone who have experiences. Just to follow, imitate what other people are doing. You want to break big rules. There are always many instructions you can get on internet and YouTube.
Yes, I definitely think Japan is one of those places where it's worth doing some research about this ahead of time and also hiring the services of a guide like yourself to ask for recommendations on the best places to go for foreigners so that we don't inadvertently upset or insult people there. Always hire a tour guide, I think is great. So, if we're thinking about the city, you mentioned that it's quite small. What is the vibe of the city? Is it an old city? Can you still see like the castles and the old shrines? Or is it a very modern city?
The center of Nagano City is quiet compared to Tokyo. One of the characteristics with Nagano is we have rich histories as well. So once we walk 15 minutes from Nagano Station, we are right in the old part of Nagano. City started when old temple called Zenkoji Temple was founded 1400 years ago. Zenkoji Temple was built there. Then many pilgrims started coming, so they needed a place to stay and places to eat and the business thrive. Nagano is still a small sized city, but there are many things to see for history lovers. And if you drive or take train for short while, you'll be right in mountains, nature. There are lakes, rivers, ski hills.
That sounds really like such a beautiful place to spend some time on your Japan holiday. Are there any food specialties that vegans can enjoy vegan versions of, or is there any particular cuisine or ingredients that are specific to this part of Japan?
Yes, Nagano is well known for a variety of local food specialties. Traditionally, we are very isolated due to high mountains. So that geographical isolation helped unique local culture to be remained. When people from big city come to Nagano, they always think that, okay, a few things I need to eat while we are in Nagano. One, soba buckwheat noodles. That's our specialty. Second, oyaki dumplings. And third, apples. So buckwheat can grow in mountains and grow well in cool climate like Nagano. The buckwheat has been a main diet in some part of Nagano, and Togakushi is one of the village in Nagano. And Togakushi soba is the most popular soba in Japan. And for vegan people, what some restaurant, I wouldn't say some, but just a few restaurants, they offer vegan sauce. They use mushroom broth instead of fish broth.
So is it like a soup, like a
Uh,
ramen kind of?
yes, two kinds of soba noodle. One is cold soba. We dip noodles into a sauce. Another kind is a hot noodle. That's in the hot soup. Noodles are in the soup.
I see.
And we tend to use a fish broth in the soup or in the sauce.
I see. But there are some places where you can get a vegan version of this.
That's right. Instead of using a sauce, there is always soy sauce on each table. So instead of sauce, I just pour soy sauce over the noodle.
I see. To make
Mhm.
it a little bit salty and more flavorful.
That's
Okay.
right.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Just on my other screen here, I'm looking at a map of Nagano province, and I'm shocked to see just how mountainous it is around and how really the city is completely surrounded by mountains, just a very narrow valley, which I guess the train line goes through. So that really just confirms what you're saying about just how there's so much nature because I'm sure if it's the mountains, they can't really grow much. And so it's quite lucky that there is so much nature around this city.
So most of Nagano City or residences where people live and agricultural farmland are in a valley or a little patch of in mountains. You can see a beautiful rice field, terraced rice field on the mountains as well.
Oh, how lovely. Oh, it's like Vietnam. That's so nice.
That's right. That's the image.
Any specific vegan restaurants in Nagano? It's particularly those serving Japanese style food?
Yes. My favorite are two restaurants, which is located near Matsumoto. Matsumoto is the second largest city in Nagano Prefecture.
Okay.
Matsumoto is famous for Matsumoto Castle. And one of the vegan restaurants is called Manaya. The restaurant in a beautiful traditional farmhouse and they serve macrobiotic meal.
Okay.
It's a beautiful presentation and the taste is amazing. And the other one is called Betty's Kitchen. Both restaurants need a reservation.
I see. Okay. Well, I'm really sold on Nagano as a destination to go and visit. Something that I know you wanted to speak to was the hands-on experiences that travelers can have when they come to this part of the world. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Because of the geographical isolation in the past in Nagano, we developed a unique food culture and craft culture. So those things are something that you can have hands-on experiences. For example, food-wise, buckwheat noodle making with the support of the staff.
Of
So
course.
it will be fun experience. The oyaki dumpling making experience. Oyaki dumpling is one of the local specialty. Outside is made of wheat, and inside is any seasonal vegetables. Lots of times it's vegan, and the local grandma will show you how to make it. And one of my favorite place to take my travelers to is one of the oyaki dumpling place near Nagano Station. It's in a farmhouse type of building, and the local grandmas are grilling dumpling over wood fire. We can see how they are making, and we can have a chat with the locals and sitting in front of the fire and savor dumplings. It's a nice atmosphere.
That does sound like a lovely opportunity for some local interaction. Really cool. Are there any other hands-on experiences that you would like to share?
Mhm. Yes, you can have a many different craft experience, such as indigo dyeing and pottery and lacquer art painting. Near Matsumoto, there is a museum called Takahashi Setsuro Museum. He is a designated national human treasure, and his art is amazing. And this museum offers lacquer art painting experience. This museum is really beautiful and for real art lovers, and a little bit off beaten track, not well known.
So I'm curious, Eriko, if people want to organize these experiences, are people able to reach out to you? And can you put a program together to help people make the most of their time in the area?
Yes, sure. I grown up here and be working as a guide for several years. I can organize a nice trip, custom-made trip according to your interest and you being able to use your time efficiently.
I absolutely love that. So, before we share with our listeners how people can get in touch with you, I just wanted to ask a couple more questions regarding the best time of year to come to this part of the world. I imagine that different times of year are better depending on what your interests are. Maybe there are some festivals that people would like to time their visit for, or maybe avoid because maybe it's too busy. So, can you speak to the reasons why you should or should not go at different times of year?
Japan actually have has 24 seasons instead of 4 seasons.
24. I have never heard this. Tell us more.
So, which means every 2 weeks we enter into a new season. New food is in season, and new flowers are blossoming, and a bird are flying from north. Different sound, different fragrance. So much change throughout the year. That is why the Japanese naturally tune into the rhythm of nature, and you can see that sensitivity in Japanese art and different forms throughout the society. And in Nagano, each season is very different and offer different beauty and different things to see. In spring, if you want to see sakura cherry blossom, from the mid March till mid April is a good time for sakura cherry blossom. And for comfortable weather, very pleasant, comfortable weather with nice fresh green, that will be after the cherry blossom season, the end of April till the middle of June. And I would avoid traveling Japan in August, which is very hot and humid.
That's what I have heard.
Yes, very uncomfortable. But if you want to have a mountain vacation in Nagano in the mountains, it's still pleasant in August.
Right. So, if you
In
want to
the
go into
autumn,
the
it's
mountains and you're hiking, for example, it's lovely up there, right?
yes, you can hike and you can stay in hot spring village in the mountains. You can have a hot spring. If August is your only option, there are still wonderful places and wonderful things you can do. And after summer, autumn is my favorite season. Beautiful with fall color and lots of seasonal food are in harvest. All the rice field turn to yellow, waiting for harvest. And air is very fresh. In spring, air is not that good because of the strong wind from China continent and pollution and comes and flower pollens causes allergic reactions. It can be a bit challenging to some people. And winter time, we have a quality powder snow. Nagano is a place for winter activities. If you are interested in going to see the snow monkeys, the wild monkeys that have a hot spring bath. The good time to see that is from December till the end of March. But in green season, Snow Monkey Park is still wonderful place to go. You can see newborn babies and park is not crowded, so it's easy to take photos.
I see. I've always been curious about the monkeys there. They are 100% wild, are they? Or
Yes,
are they
they are.
encouraged to come to these hot springs, or they just come by themselves and they're completely wild?
They are 100% wild creatures. They live in woods, and in the morning they come down to the park and they hang out in the park. When it's cold, they have a bath. Not all day long. They go in and go out, go in again. And when the park closes, they go back to the woods and sleep in different locations. They consider the park to be one of the spots in the mountains that they can find food. And there is no cage or fence, and the park is very respectful to keep their wildness. They give some food, they leave some food on the ground, but just minimum amount of food to attract their attention.
Oh, okay. So they do kind of want them to come to the hot springs by the sounds of it with a small incentive. Is that right?
More incentive to come down to the park from the mountain. But the hot
I
spring,
see.
they choose to have a bath.
Eriko, are there any other things that travelers might find interesting about this part of the world?
Sure. Actually, people in Nagano have the longest lifespan in Japan. We eat lots of fermented food. We used to be isolated and we have to be self-sufficient in long winter. So we would grow food in summertime and preserve food in the form of fermentation, such as pickling and making miso, soy sauce, and sake. So for food lovers, Nagano is an interest place to come and visiting miso makers and sake breweries. We can have a facility tour and we can see huge wooden barrel filled with miso. We get to sample a bowl of miso soup, and some makers offer miso ice cream.
Really? Okay, that's
Yes.
interesting.
Miso is amazing food. When atomic bomb hit Nagasaki and Hiroshima, some doctor encouraged them to eat a bowl of miso soup. And it is said that miso soup helps the toxins to get out from the body. When the Fukushima happened, the same information was out there that miso soup will detoxify the body. My grandma was saying the same thing too. My father was a smoker, and my grandma actually she lived up to 103 years old. She often told my father that, "Oh, you a smoker, so you need to have miso soup every meal to get rid of toxins out of the body."
I love it. I love miso soup. I love it as an ingredient. It's just got such a wonderful taste, and I love that it is such an important food in Japan. Wouldn't surprise me that it can do magical things. That's incredible. So, Eriko, I would love it if you wouldn't mind sharing with our listeners, those people that are thinking about coming to Japan, thinking about including Nagano City and the surrounding area on their itinerary. How can you help them experience this part of the world to its fullest potential? Could you explain what services you can offer to people who would like to explore Nagano to the fullest?
My service is mainly making itinerary and guiding, giving private tours. So if they can reach me, I will discuss the itinerary, which they can use their time efficiently and go visit places of interest. I guide them around on the day of the tour.
I love that. So, how can people find you and reach out and get your services, Eriko?
Yes, I mostly work with tour by locals. That's like a guiding agency who have a list of guides. And if you can go into tourbylocals.com and type Nagano, I will show up and you can reach me.
Well, listeners, whoever is listening to this, you will be able to find the link for Eriko's Tours by Local page. I'm looking at it right now. It's very nice. And you can message Eriko directly through this platform, correct?
Yes,
Okay, fantastic. I see you have quite a few tours on your website already that are very highly rated. So people can book those, I'm guessing, just off the website. But then, of course, if they want something more customized, you can help them with that too, right?
yes.
I love it. I love it. So, Eriko, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to share some really helpful information about this lovely part of Japan. I really want to come to this place. I would love to offer another tour to Japan because so many people are interested in Japan, and something that's a little bit more off the beaten track would be amazing. And I definitely will contact you if we decide to go to Nagano. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, Eriko, and I wish you all of the best for the 2025 season.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you.